What's up, mamas? I'm Rebecca. You're watching the Reseller Mom Show. Thanks for joining me today for another episode of Reseller Momversations. And today I have Emily with Crazy Flippin' Mom. Of course, you know her on Instagram, and I know that she's got a YouTube channel as well. Let's welcome Emily and say hey. Hi, Emily. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, thank you for having me here. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We just kind of said it, I don't spend a ton of time watching as many people as I would like to on Instagram. I think what I need to do is kind of like follow in, like get rid of some of the people that I followed initially and kind of just condense a little bit for the people that I really do want to watch. And you're actually one of those people because you're killing it on Facebook Marketplace. I know you talk a lot about that. You're the crazy flippin' mom. So clearly that's just going to hint to all sorts of shenanigans that go on. And I love that you're a no makeup mama a lot of the time, or at least it looks like, which this is, how it goes. So I do enjoy watching you a little, and I need to do it a little bit more. But for those that maybe don't know you, but somehow would know me, which would be weird, tell them who you are and what you do, and then we'll kind of chat a little bit.
Yeah, my name is Emily. Like you said, a lot of people know me as the crazy flippin' mom. And it's funny that in today's world, a lot of people who see me in public or posh events, we call each other by our Instagram names now. Like, hey, you're the crazy flippin' mom. We only know Instagram handles.
Right. I have to look up sometimes and like, do they even say their actual name and like make sure that I know
Right.
what it is?
Right. So that's okay if you just call me crazy flippin' mom. I am a work from home mom of 4 little kids, and I married my high school sweetheart 11 years ago this week.
Oh, nice.
Crazy, and time flies when you're having fun, I guess. And yeah, I started reselling 2 years ago. I always say on all these shows, because people ask me how I got into this, there's people who grew up yard selling, thrifting, and there's people who grew up not.
Right.
And I was in the camp that didn't garage sell, didn't thrift. So this was like a whole new world for me. And I feel like once you go down the rabbit hole of you start off with one platform, then it's like you see another and another kind of opportunity. It's endless what you can do. And like you said, I just started Marketplace this summer. There's so many opportunities.
It was that recent. I didn't realize. I thought you were like old pro at it or something. Because you kept having like all this success, and I kept seeing the cash, and then just like it's Facebook Marketplace is where it's at. And then I watched your YouTube video. So this is just a new summer thing.
So at the beginning of summer, I started turning my attention to yard sales, which was a newer type of thing for me, because when you have little kids, going out to yard sales is not as easy as somebody who doesn't have kids or can just put them in school and go.
Right.
So I thought, I'm going to do community sales. And what I found is that community sales, there are people who don't want to have a yard sale, but people who want to put out stuff for free, like furniture, who are like, have one-off type things, who are like free sign. So I would pick up more free stuff than I would find at the yard sales. And that stuff, I thought, I bet I could flip all this stuff on Facebook Marketplace. That's when I was like, is Facebook Marketplace, can it compete with the other platforms? And so it was also something for me, like a new hustle. Yeah. And I also wanted to show people who maybe couldn't do Poshmark, eBay, Mercari for some reason, like there's another local opportunity here who you don't have money. I'm getting this stuff for free.
Absolutely.
Making really good money, local money, and it's awesome.
Yeah. And the thing with Facebook, and I like, for anyone that has, from my audience or whatever that's followed me, like I kind of make little points because I do have some success with Facebook Marketplace with certain things, but primarily I'm a clothing seller. And so there's only certain kinds of clothing items that I'll either lot up or put up individually on Facebook Marketplace. And in Orlando, in the little sub area that I am in Orlando, we have a really active buy sell trade. Like there's probably 19 groups of one way or another, whether it's just for kids or just for moms, or I started one just for women so that I would have a place to put things. I may even start one just for men, just so I can put all my men's stuff up. But it's really active, but it's one of those things where it doesn't fit like my normal system of buy it, photograph it, list it, stick it in my storage unit, and then ship it. And that's my like little process. Now I'm like dealing with people on the fly. We have to set times. It's a whole thing. And then they're just so flaky that I get so frustrated with it. And I don't even go meet them. Like I do porch pickup. I'm like, it's there, leave the money under the mat. I'm going to totally public shame you if you take it without leaving me the money. And like, you know, I just try to make it as frustration free for me as possible. So I was just really curious, like when I knew I was going to have you scheduled to come on, like I need to pick her brain about stuff like that with Facebook. Like, do you have a lot of people that are just super flaky, stand you up, ask a million questions, but then ghost?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a lot of that, or is it pretty nice in your area?
I do, and I compare it to any platform.
Yeah.
On every platform, Poshmark, I get loads of questions that don't need any place.
Absolutely, yeah.
When people ask me for measurements, 9 times out of 10, they'll never buy it.
Right.
So I kind of think that's kind of how it is on this platform too.
Yeah.
Every day, especially when now that my kids are back in school, I don't do marketplace as much, but I would get, is this available 30 times a day? And only 5 of those were the follow through.
Yeah.
Now I don't do porch pickup, and I would meet, and my go-to was, and I would let them know 30 minutes before the meeting, I would say, are we still on?
Right.
And if they did not respond, I did not come.
Right.
And I've only had one person stand me up, and that was when I asked them and they never responded, but I went anyways because I was in the area.
Right.
And they were Hispanic. So there was like a language situation. And so I kind of gave them the benefit of the doubt, like maybe they don't understand, but he didn't come. So that was my only situation. But asking them 30 minutes before and no response means I don't go has been really helpful. Yeah. But I think it's just the same situation you have on any platform. Yeah. There's a lot of questions that don't follow through.
That's a good point. You're right. I mean, because I get a lot of Poshmark questions and they still drive me nuts. I mean, I have a video coming out about automating your customer service because I think that I have an anger management problem when it comes to these kinds of questions, because I will straight up in my head, if Gio is around, my little guy who's going to be 4, if he's around, clearly I'm doing it in my head. But if he's not there, man, like I'm cursing these out like crazy because that makes me feel better. And then I write the nice, polite thing. But in real life, I'm like, you stupid, blah, blah, blah. But because they're just stupid questions. But that's a good point. You do get them on all of them. I just, with Facebook Marketplace, for whatever reason, I just felt like, you know, DeLand is like a ways away from me. And there would be people in my local little sub area of, you know, Orlando in my little spot. And it's like, why are you in the group? Why are you even looking at these? Like, stop looking at these things. I put as much information, like my subdivision, my zip code, that it's cross-posted, because I got reamed out about that one time because I chose this lady instead of that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just this area. There's a lot of busybodies.
Right.
But I'm happy to see that you've had a lot of success with it. Now, do you put clothing on there, or it's pretty much the hard goods?
It's all hard goods. I don't do a lot of clothing because all of my clothing is going on platforms, really. And I see so many clothing items getting tagged for review when you put brands and stuff. Yeah. So that's just something most of my clothing items are such like bread and butter, not really, I'm not meeting somebody to pick up $15, $20.
Right. And that's like, for me, some of the best that I do is the Disney princess costumes. And again, I'm in Orlando, so maybe we just get a lot more ribbons and what have you. But even when they are flawed in some way, there's a rip or a little stain, as long as it's still wearable for them to play dress up, I'll save them, lot them up, because they're usually like size 3-4, size 5-6, like that's your money spot. And I'll save them up and then sell them as a lot for $20, $30. But it may cost me $3 because they're so light. And those go over really well. People jump on them like crazy. And I sold a printer last night, which was nice. But I also find too, do you just do it on Marketplace, or do you do it in actual buy, sell, trade groups where there's like a moderator or an administrator?
Nope, no groups. I'm just on Marketplace.
Got it. Okay. Then I need to do a little more of that, because ours are mostly groups. I mean, I put it on Marketplace also, but I feel like most of it is coming from the groups because that's where the comments are coming And
Mm-hmm.
those people can be a little bit of busybody pain in the necks too, like in how they
Yeah.
everything. Oh,
Yep, I saw everything on the groups, and there are some frustrating points, but the fact that nobody's taking 20%,
yeah,
I kind of just take the good and the bad, and I'm like, I get all my cash, I go home.
nice.
That's nice. Those
Yeah,
things are nice.
I agree. No, that's good. I admire all of that, and it's good to see, like, when you've done a couple where it's like the cash in your hand or on the counter or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I need to go and get everything that's in my guest room bathroom, because that's where I shove it.
Yep.
It's all in the bathtub. So when I get it out of the bathtub, I delist it. So,
Right.
so that's awesome. And you've built up quite a large Instagram following. So that's also over the last 2 years that you've been
Right. My daughter just came in. So go on out, go tell dad. Well, my husband's sitting out there, but why is this a kid thing that she's still coming into me, even though my husband's
your attention is taken, and therefore
still my husband's sitting out there and she's in here. Anyways, so probably 3 or 4 months into reselling, I had a small Instagram account. And when people start a business, they flood their Instagram account with all their business.
Yep.
And I thought, when I follow people, I was just following them because I liked them. They were friends.
Yeah.
But I didn't care that they were selling wraps or makeup or food. I just wanted to see their kids and where they were going. So about 3 months in, I was like, I just need to start a reselling account for people who want to see reselling. I never thought, I really did it because I didn't know anybody reselling. And I just actually looked up reseller hashtag and followed everybody who's ever used that hashtag because I was so interested. To that point, it was like, am I the only one reselling? I mean, I knew other people were, but
feel like that in the beginning. You're right.
So that's really how it started. That was like a year and a half-ish ago. Just started documenting my journey, showing my highs and lows, really just wanting to see what other people were doing and learn. And seeing other people's success was so motivating. I didn't know that people could make as much money. I thought it was like, my goal then was to make $500 a month. And that was huge. Like if I could make $500 a month, that would success. But then to get on and see other sellers making $20,000 a month, I was like, I need to reevaluate my goals here. So that was awesome. I mean, obviously there's a lot that comes along with Instagram, but just to see the amount of success people could have in the community, that was awesome. So that's been Instagram.
Well, and you're really good at, like, and I still need to learn more, but like you go live a lot and do a lot more of your video and two-way communication and stuff on there, where for me, I just never really found like a cadence with that. So then I just went straight to YouTube and started doing the videos where it was just me. And then only recently I started saying like, okay, now I'm ready. Now I feel comfortable enough putting information out that's just me, where I can do what I wanted to do when I started the channel to begin with, which was to have conversations with other reselling moms. Like this episode that we're doing and like this series is the whole reason why I started it. I just didn't have the guts to do it like at the very beginning. It took me a while to like get, up the gumption to do it. So I do need to do more with Instagram, but I think it's nice that you're on there and you've built that up and people know that you're there. They can find, you know what I mean? Like you've got that solid, but now you've recently started the YouTube, right? Recent.
Yep, I have YouTube, and honestly, if it weren't for my husband pushing me, I probably wouldn't have done anything like reselling, because I'm the type of person that's like, I can do this, but then I think of reasons I shouldn't, which was what happened with reselling. And he was like, you've got to do this. Instagram, YouTube, all of it. And I will say with Instagram, when I started doing lives, typically I would have 0 to 4 people who would get on when I started a year and a half ago. And I think that's important to say, because when you see now I do lives, a group of people get on and you think, oh, that's how it used to always be. It's always been a group of people. No, at one point it was just actually me talking to myself, so everybody starts at 0. Everybody starts at the same place. But yeah, now I just jumped on YouTube. I've not been a big YouTube person ever, even like personally.
Even watch about stuff.
Right, even watching. So that's a huge learning curve for me. But here I am just doing it.
Oh, that's great. I mean, and you do what you can, you know, and then you might find like that you don't enjoy YouTube as much for whatever reason, and you just keep going with your Instagram. For me, I'm like the total opposite. I mean, and I have, after we talk, I'll do a few things, and then at 11 Eastern, I go live now every Monday. That's kind of like, once Gio went back to school, because he goes like, again, he's only going to be almost 4. He does like 3 half days. So that's what I get. He does 3 half days. And I'm like, in that, Monday is YouTube day. So I recorded a video already. Then we're doing this, which will go live on Saturday. And then I do my live, which has, I think at most I've ever had is 10 people live, but it's a tough time during the day, but I'm fine with that. Like, I bring a topic, I talk. If people show up with questions, that's awesome. And sometimes it's more lively than others. I just feel like for me, I could not do the lives at night because by 8 o'clock, I'm pretty much brain dead. Like, I get up at 4:30, and that's when I get everything done before anybody's awake.
Right.
So, I mean, today I've already put in a half a day's worth of work.
Right.
Are you
totally understand? You
have all 4 of them are in school, like they're all school age.
So 3 are in full time. My 4th is 4 half days a week.
Got it. Okay.
But that is nice because like you, it's like a break, but I do 3 drop off and pickups a day. So my day is super broke up, you know? So you're always like, okay, what can I do? But like today I was like, okay, I can't really lead this morning to do anything because I'm doing this. And then I need to do all this, you know, it is. For a mom, I always tell people, because I think men are usually the people who say, you just need to manage your time. Well, I think men have never managed kids' time and their own time. Like women are good. They manage their time and their kids. And it's not that problem. It's just that they're like juggling so many things.
Right.
And usually their things come last.
Yes.
And their business comes last, and then they start comparing like, oh, that person is killing it. Well, that person didn't have to do 3 drop-offs today. You know, they could source 6 hours and then come home and list 6 hours.
Right.
You know, and then they got a solid 10, you know.
And it's a mental headspace thing. And, you know, like I don't even have multiple kids. I have 1 kid, and that's fine for me. Like multiple kids scare the heck out of me. Like if there were 2 of Gio, or even, I mean, there's no way. Like 1 is good. And then I have a dog. She came first. So she's my first baby. Then the real baby came, and now he's almost 4. And then the business came, and that's my 3rd child. And like, that's enough for me. So technically in my head, I'm like, I really do have 3 kids pretty much. But yes, I agree, because, you know, my husband, when he goes off to work, he's only worrying about himself. When he comes home, but you know, he's very involved. He really, really is. But, you know, he's only really primarily worrying about himself. But you've got your finger on 3 kids, whatever pets you may have, your husband, the general household, your business, all the people that are involved possibly with your business that you're communicating with. Like, it is a lot. And what I'm finding, and what the kinds of tips that I like to share are like the efficiency hacks and the ways to literally play like Tetris with your time, you know, like what can I do in this minute and a half, given this situation, what I can do? What can you do with 10 minutes of kid-free time? What can you do when you have a large chunk of time, but you're not kid-free, you know, and how can you fit it all in? So do you have any of those kind of, I'm just curious too, because again, I'm always in awe of people that have multiple kids. But again, you've got, you know, differing ages. Any mom tips, hacks that you have that you want to share?
I would say go easy on yourself. I think people look at moms and they're like, without naming names, that men can be harsh on stay-at-home moms, and like they need to be coddled and they can't do as much. And we run the world, you know, from our house. Yeah. And we have to go a bit easier on ourselves because we're really doing it all. I would say the only thing is that I think is some days I wake up with a huge agenda and my kids aren't having it.
Right.
And what should take me 10 minutes would take me 3 hours with them.
Right.
Because it's a crap fest with them. Yeah. And what I do is shut it down. Yeah. I shut my schedule down because I don't need a 10-minute thing to take me 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I reevaluate. I say, maybe this afternoon I can redo this.
Right.
I think that's the best thing I started doing, just pivot. And sometimes I think especially young moms are like, I'm going to just keep on with ratty little kids instead of just saying, okay, my kids aren't having it, and give yourself and your kids a break, because you're not going to get it done and it's going to be terrible. You know, you're going to be crying and they're going to be crying. And then reevaluate after lunch, after nap time. Okay, can we go back into this?
Yeah.
That has been the biggest hack for me, because so many times I was like, I've got to get this done. And I didn't. I should have just waited because it was terrible. And it should have taken me an hour and it took me 5, and it was terrible for everybody.
It's frustrating. And then you have that frustration feeling, which either could come out to the kid, or usually when my husband gets home, I save it all up for him. And then I unleash it all on him, which I've really been trying not to do so much lately. But like, there's a couple things that I think like that stuck out when you were saying that, when you said pivot, because for a while I would try to do like house thing, work thing, house thing, working, if I was primarily home for the day, and like kind of do both throughout the day parallel. And then I really said like between 7 and 8 in the morning, that's a high stress time for personal life. No business things are getting done during that time. From 7 to 8, I'm not even going to expect myself to be getting anything done. I've just shut out the business completely. From 5 to 6 p.m., when it's dinner making time, maybe Gio's just waking up from a nap or whatever, the dog's got to pee, you know, my husband's going to be coming home soon. So like we have to pretend like the house didn't look like a total crazy place. So like get it squared away, like finish up everything I've started throughout the day. And like that time is definitely not business time. Once I kind of put that shut down, that made me feel a little bit better, because I didn't have the expectation that I could be doing both things at the same time. Also, I start 5 million things throughout the day. I don't know if you like, if Gio's playing in this room, I'll start something in this room. And then when he goes and plays somewhere else, then I'll start the thing over there. And so between 5 and 6 o'clock, I'm like just kind of putting the bow on everything that I've started throughout the day, because that's how I felt I could make the most of where Gio was without making too much problem for him, being like, you need to be here so I can. I mean, now at him being almost 4, it's a little bit less of that, because he can be in that room playing his trains, and I'm in my reselling room, and I can be taking photos, and I check on him, and then I come back. So now it's a little bit less of that. But I thought, you know, we all do an interesting, different job of balancing all of that. I mean, it's different for everyone depending on your kids and what have you. Now, are your kids, and do you involve them at all in anything related to reselling? Is it
very little?
Okay.
Very little. I mean, they love to come thrifting, and that's another thing. People see me at the thrift store with my kids, which is really a terrible thing. You know, bringing your kids to the thrift store is just terrible. But a lot of people don't see this on Instagram because I don't put it out there a lot, but my husband travels a lot. Yeah. So every week, if I want to go thrifting to get new stuff, it's going to happen with kids.
Yeah.
And that is always a juggling act. Okay, I'm taking 4 kids or 2 kids. How am I going to make this happen? And that's very quick. I mean, I have to plan that out, bring snacks. I'm negotiating toy aisle with, I'll do dresses and then we'll do toys, and then I'll do shirts and then we'll do toys.
Right.
So sometimes they'll help me. My older kids will help me like pull inventory or share when they're in trouble. I'll be like, you get to share my closet. That has definitely happened, but very, very little, very little. I mean, they're kids. They don't want to do this kind of stuff. I do like that they see me hustle. This summer, Facebook Marketplace was raising money for our vacation, really. That we were just selling stuff I would find for free. All the stuff I sold on Marketplace, I ended up making about $6,000. Yeah. And all of that was, I mean, I bought the clothing racks, and I'm going to talk about that more on my YouTube this week. And I think I paid about, for 90 racks, about $200.
Oh, okay.
But everything else was free. And they knew all about that, and they got to see that up front, and they would tell the people who came, we're raising money for our vacation.
Nice.
And they loved that. And I love that they could see, if you want something, you have to like find it, sell it. There are other options than just going and working a job.
Absolutely.
So that's a great thing to show kids, the hustle and the work ethic of saving money, putting money aside for something, a fun activity you want to do, especially we have 6 people in our family. It's not just like, we're going to take a vacation.
Right. No, that would be a lot. We're coming up on a cruise in October, and it's just us. And then my mom and sister are going to come and they'll be in their own room. But it gets expensive when it's just a couple. And then I could imagine basically of double the family that I do. So that's crazy. But no, I'm like old school. Like I'm from Jersey, Italian family. Like it's kind of like a lot of that old school grit sort of type of thing. Like I don't know if you watch Gary Vee, like all of that stuff, like those are my people. Like that, those are my people. And, I get sometimes a little down. I'm like, Gio is growing up in Orlando and there's palm trees and we go to Disney all the time. And like, it's this little charmed life of like, he has trains strewn about all over the place. Like, he's never going to know like that. And not like I had it so hard or anything, but there's just this other level. But I'm like, but I do think that the reselling and having me do things in front of him, having him see buying and selling, like, he's starting to pick up on certain things. And I try to involve him as much as I can, mostly because I see that as my path to getting things done. Like if he thinks what I'm doing is fun, like yesterday he grabbed, I'm going to post it on Instagram, I think today or tomorrow. So I schedule everything. Like a picture he took because he's like, it's Gio's turn. Like most of the time they're crazy pictures, but this was actually a great picture of all the ones that I had done that were all packaged up. And I was like, that's a great picture. He grabs the measuring thing and like pulls out a shirt from his drawer and he's like, I'm going to measure items for the boutique. Like, and again, he's younger than yours. So if you've only started in the last couple of years, they were already past this point, probably when you started. But, I feel like he'll be okay, college, no college, whatever. As long as I can pass on to him how to buy and sell stuff, he'll be okay. You know what I mean? Like they're just really like I'm fascinated by the skills that you can teach your kid. And I'm not like a homeschool person. Like my mom was a teacher, so I get teaching, but I would never want to be a teacher. And I definitely don't want to be a homeschooling mom. That's just a whole other level of things. But I enjoy teaching him about reselling because I feel like those are true life lessons that in this particular world with all things that are going on, sometimes they don't get, like you see other younger kids and they're just throwing tantrums like crazy. And you're like, like I'm not looking at anybody's parenting or anything, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I think I feel good about the things that I'm teaching him.
Right.
It just happens to be on top of a platform of reselling.
Right. I think that one of the skill sets is seeing opportunity. And before I did this, I didn't go into stores and just doing anything with like almost glasses of being able to see and spot opportunities when I went places. And my kids have that now too. And your kid will probably have that when they go into stores, whether it's a regular store or a thrift store, they see the amount of opportunities sitting there. I mean, we went into just a regular old store closing and I made a lot of money there, and they're able to see that too. And I think that's when they break through that ceiling of entitlement. I think that's what you have is we live in America. There's opportunity everywhere. If you're willing to work for it, if you're willing to look around. And I think that's really the skill set that this provides people in a way is to not just be like, I should get this because I'm here, I should have this nice toy or I should whatever, but to say I can have this if I'm willing to work for it.
Right.
And I hope that's what my kids come away with. I think that's what the skill set they're picking up.
Yeah, I like that. That's something I hadn't, because I'm thinking of like, prices and colors and like the actual tangible things, but that's more of like a perspective. I like that. That's interesting. I've not thought of that. I like that. We're gonna work on that. We do like the coin system for like rewards and stuff because I wanted to really see from him, is he more motivated by earning or is he more motivated by something being taken away? And I still I feel like it changes from day to day. So I try to do both. Like, if you do this thing, I'm going to take a coin away if it's bad behavior, versus I'll give you a coin if you do this good behavior, you know? And I try to like feel them out. And I feel like it's a dead heat, honestly. But he's learning to like save the coins up for stuff that he wants, or like we don't just always, because every day they want something else. Like, at least with him, it's trains right now. So every day he needs a train switcher, a train adapter, just kind of train that kind. And so, though I'd rather play trains than any Barbies or anything like that. I'm so grateful for playing trains. Alligators, we play alligators all the time. I'm definitely meant to be a mom of boys, or a boy. But, you know, having him know that he can like not just get the thing, like it's either a holiday or it's, you know, something that you're saving up for, and he's learning to save his coins. And now, of course, he's obsessed. You know, at almost 4, he's like making the Christmas list already. Because like last year he didn't really care that much. This year there's definitely a difference of like, oh, I'm going to put this on my list for Santa, I'm going to put that on my list for Santa. So
yeah,
very interesting.
that's so funny.
There was something you said this morning that I just wanted to, because it just, I had another mom, Erin Hall, on, so that aired this Saturday, so then you're going to be next Saturday, and we're on a Monday for those, whatever. But she does hilarious haul videos, and I was like such a fan when I was talking. I'm like, your hauls are so funny, and you're so like all this stuff. She's so funny. And then this morning you said something that cracked me up, but you said my kids keep eating our food. And I was just like, it was on your Instagram, and I'm like, that is so funny, because Gio is a pretty good eater, and like for a toddler, why for a toddler, like, you know, they can be very picky, but he's a super good eater. And the other day we were at a birthday party and he ate a piece of pizza and he was like, this is so good, I love pizza. And I'm like, flash forward to 16-year-old Gio, he's got zits all over his face and like is probably going to tear up like an entire extra large cheese pizza or something. And then,
not even 16, that's like 8.
Your food. It was so funny. Super. I know it's not Reseller related, but I had to make note of that. If you guys haven't seen it, and you go check out her Instagram, because she says really funny.
My kids go through food. Like you say, he'll do that at 16, but it'll be like 8.
Oh God.
I mean, my kids can clean off 2 pizzas on their own, so it'll be much faster than you think it will be.
Yeah. Well, now I just think about, like, if you have pizza night, how many pizzas do you get?
My kids, so I have 4, and they'll eat 2 pizzas on their own. So, and I have one kid.
If you and your husband want to eat pizza, then you need to get a 3rd pizza.
Probably, yeah. They eat so much, and it looks like locusts came through the house. We have usually when you're like, I need groceries, you still have like food in the pantry. No food. I'll post a picture, like no food. I have keto food because I eat pretty clean. Good. So there might like almonds and keto snacks left because they're like,
right, they don't want any of that. Yeah. That's funny.
No cereal. All the cereal bins are empty. Yeah. It looks like something happened, like plague.
Like, and then, you know, it's the end and you're just kind of like, you found this house and you're going to go in and see if that house has food because you're foraging and, oh, nope, somebody was already there. That's funny. Yeah. Now it's just like things that you said like that. Like, I can't imagine, you know, like you just have one and you know that this is what your life is like. And then you're like, but there are these other people that have to order 3 pizzas when they have pizza night. Like, that's great.
Yes.
Just blew my
groceries.
That is, my Apple ID has been disabled. What is that notification? That's not good. Sorry. But yeah, no, kids, they're crazy. But I think that you put out really great content. I enjoy watching it and I need to pay more attention because I go back and forth with being like valuable and then personable and relatable. And I mean, everything that I'm doing here, the Reseller Mom Show, it's all for reseller moms. So I'm not trying to show you anything that's not legit happening with having a kid. Everything I talk about is with the perspective and the veil of having a child. So there's never going to be like crazy numbers that I put out that which should make anyone feel unattainable. I'm all about start where you are. And I think it's great that, you know, you have a very positive outlook. Like, again, I listened to your, you know, Instagram thing this morning. You're just like, go out there, do your best, you know, like just very nice and positive. And I think that's why so many people like you and follow you, because it's just a really good, positive, happy, yet personable message. So I thank you for that, and I will be paying closer attention. Any last kind of thoughts or comments you'd like to put out there for those reselling moms that are watching us on the Reseller Mom Show today?
I would say, if I could say one last thing, people always say, what's your last word? And I'm like, blank. Just be nice to yourself. I mean, every mom, like you have one kid, some people are watching have a newborn. Some of us have 4 kids in school with all the crazy soccer schedules.
Right.
And it's such a disservice to your personal self to start comparing, because there's another mom I follow who like kills all the apps, all the platforms, I mean, but she can go source all day, list all night, get a solid 10.
Yeah.
And that's such a disservice to me to compare her journey to mine, because she's at a different place.
Right.
Especially if you have newborns, because you are not your own, you know, your breasts are not your own, right? You're like a walking food truck,
right?
You know, so you're not your own. So I would just be so nice to yourself, drink all the coffee and do what you can do. And when you can't do anymore, like sit back, chill, that's it. You know, start the next day.
Yep.
That's what we're all doing. Just be nice.
Yep. No, I agree. And thank you for that. Because there are things that I put out on Instagram where it's as much a reminder for myself as I hope it will be, you know, a thought provoking thing for someone else. So it's great that you're kind of, you know, talking about that. I needed that reminder. I'm sure all the other moms need that reminder. And I appreciate you being on today. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great sales week and you get all the things done. And, you know, wishing you lots of more coffee in your future as well. I just switched to water. I'm like, 3 cups is enough for now. I guess I should take a break. But thank you so much. So I almost forgot to say, you're at Crazy Flippin' Mom on Instagram. And then is your YouTube the same? I'll link it, but just to say it.
Crazy Flippin' Mom on YouTube, Crazy Flippin' Mom on Facebook, at The Bakery on Poshmark.
Oh.
That's all you probably need to know.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll put all of those things. Well, thank you so much. And for everyone here, please like this video on the way out. Leave us some comments. We'd love to have them. Subscribe for more Reseller Mom content to get more done, make more money, and stay sane while raising kids and reselling online. See you in the next one. Bye.